very much, Jack. Thank you very much, Maven. OpTic Gaming kick things off with a very swift 3-0 dispatch of Vitality. Once again, puts the pressure on Rise at the top of the table and puts a ton of pressure, of course, on Vitality now, Joe, at the bottom. If they want to avoid relegation, they've got to win out basically the rest of their games.
Yeah, they definitely do, but this was a tough one, right? Like, what are you asking them to do? I mean, they did play very close, but I guess the one key thing is they're only 2 games behind the rest of those teams, right? And they do have a tiebreaker over Era, where they beat Era Eternity on that last day of the first couple of weeks. So when you get into those tiebreakers, they could get, you know, they just have to win a few more matches. But yeah, I mean, this was a close series. It was pretty solid overall from Vitality, but OpTic, I mean, just too good. Clutch out basically every game.
Yep, essentially. Of course, it all started on a hardpoint Valkyrie. And again, it was a bit back and forth, I think it's fair to say, Chance, but when push came to shove, it's OpTic Gaming that walk away with the win.
And funnily enough, it was a situation where OpTic Gaming kind of did have a bit of a slow start. Like, they end up getting outslayed this game, and they still pull off the win. And normally that's the script being flipped on OpTic. Normally they outslay in its close games. But yeah, pretty solid performance overall. I think they have a fairly decent understanding of the map. They seem to be mostly on the ball, but obviously every single team is going to have things to work on. But yeah, Karma, in my mind, just had himself a very nice start to kind of make up for the fact that Formal did not. And that kind of balanced itself out. But yeah, just in the end, they were too strong.
And ironically enough, that was the thing that you were worried about, Chance. You were worried, hey, you know, what if OpTic Gaming do start slow? Is there maybe a realm where Vitality could take it? And they definitely had their chances, but they weren't able to close it out. Of course, as you see here, OpTic Gaming, they managed to take map number 1. And then you look at the rest of the series, Joe, and something that you talked about was, well, map 2 and map 3. You can't really favor Vitality.
Yeah, definitely not. But, you know, one thing I wanted to touch on is Vitality. They sort of rotate to that next set of hills or start in ventilation. And we've seen teams, you know, especially last night, you and I saw in the Pro League Challenge, where teams can lock down that middle hill for a good 40 to 50 seconds. So it was a great job by OpTic, especially Karma. He picks up 2, able to break that last hill, gives them a win. So a good job. Overall, a great game from Vitality. I feel like it was still a loss. Formal, though, had a slow start, and that's, again, what we were afraid of. You know, first match of the week, I was told those guys came in like 20 minutes before their game, so not too much warm-up time for OpTic.
Didn't really end up needing it. Of course, map 2, Arden Forest, Search and Destroy. Again, back-and-forth action, really, Chance, and OpTic Gaming, they forced that final round, of course, and ultimately take the second win.
In the final round, I think, tells a decent story on like the difference between these two teams, just who can make the better adjustments mid-game. Because if a couple things go different, one round, one flagpole, whatever it is, Vitality could have won this series 3-0, but OpTic Gaming proved they're the better team because early on, OpTic Gaming 3-stacking B and leaving Crim6 to kind of watch mid-map A and A at the same time, at least until Karma gets set up in U. But then that final round comes to round 11. OpTic Gaming, instead of doing the normal thing that they've done time and time again, this time they only send 2 to B, make sure that they play passive so they don't get naded out top plat. Krim goes on the full flank, and he does so very, very quickly. So he's getting nade kills, killing people off flank, and he's the guy that made the play. And that's the first round that OpTic Gaming had pulled off that strategy.
Right.
So you go all the way there. You've shown Vitality 1, maybe 2 things over and over and over again. Then round 11, you throw it out the window, pull out something different at the very least. Vitality did not make the adjustment. OpTic Gaming did. They come away victorious. And again, that's something that the better teams do.
Again, that's really the series relatively close, of course. The Search and Destroy does go to the round 11. Then, of course, CTF. I mean, we find ourselves going to extra time here as well, Joe.
Yeah, definitely. Again, London Docks is one where you just have to be shooting well, right? Like, if you are getting outslayed, typically, well, the tides turn very quickly. You're able to rack up flags. But yeah, right off the start, Vitality was able to go up 1-0 Mauls. He's able to get those full streaks. Ben, we saw how effective streaks can be on London Docks CTF yesterday. You remember that play where that water play? Yeah. Anyways, again, those streaks can be very effective if they're used correctly. But again, it was pretty back and forth game. OpTic, they're able to clutch up, send it to OT. But overall, it was a solid performance from Vitality.
I think 2 things, though, you have to point out. One, there was 2 separate team kills from artillery strikes, and that just shouldn't happen. I think they were putting it like basically right on top of the flag. If they just skewed it a little farther off to the side, they would have been able to